Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Pivotal Moments with Liletta. As always, I know we are going to have an amazing conversation. I'm excited to get right into today's discussion. So, Trenessa, introduce yourself. Tell our viewers a little bit about yourself.
Well, thank you, Liletta, for the opportunity. I'm very happy to be with you today. Again, my name is Trenessa Coffey Annibal, and I am a mindset coach. And the name of my company is Eternally Grateful Coaching. And so you might ask, what is mindset coaching? And so basically, mindset coaching is the idea that our thoughts and our beliefs can change our life, either positively or negatively. So I work with clients and organizations and companies throughout the Maryland, Washington, D.C., Virginia area. And I basically do workshops for them. And I help them come to the realization that if they can change the way that they think about things, they can reassess, reframe how they think about experiences and situations and circumstances, then they can ultimately change their life. And the name of the company, Eternally Grateful Coaching, because everything comes from a place of gratitude. We have to be grateful for where we are right here and right now before we can move forward.
Wow, awesome. Well, I'm excited to have you on the show today. Let's get right on into the discussion about pivoting. Okay, so as I mentioned, we're talking about pivotal moments and what it means to pivot. So in your experience, when we talk about pivoting, can you tell me a time where in life where you have had to make a pivot?
Sure. So I'm a very spiritual person. The Bible, of course, is the most important book for me. I would say that the second most important book was or is The Secret. And when I read the book, The Secret, and learned about the law of attraction, it was really, I think, a pivotal moment for me because I understood that there is power in how we think about things, how we react to things, and the power of our subconscious, which is so important. The power of gratitude, the power of positivity. And it really caused me to shift or pivot, to use your word, to change how I did things. I had a friend when I was in college, and she always used to say, Trenessa, the stars seem to always align for you. And I know that I am very blessed. I think we're all blessed. The minute that we can wake up in the morning and put our feet on the ground and be, in healthy, sound body and mind, we're blessed. So I take that lightly. I'm very grateful for that. But I think that when I read The Secret and understood the law of attraction, I had a name to put to it. I kind of always did it, but I never knew what it was really. So I think that was a real shifting point for me, a pivotal moment for me.
Wow. And, a takeaway from that is, again, talking about just the power of things that we do. And it's amazing to me how sometimes you can read something and it can have such an effect on you. I had a similar experience with dealing with depression. And I read a book like 2009 that just gave really good tips on how to deal with depression and things you should do and engage the senses and things like that. And I've yet to be able to find that book again, but when I tell you, it made such a huge impact and really shifted things for me when it came to depression. So I really appreciate you saying that. Books are powerful.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes. So, what's interesting, and I always mention this in these discussions, that one of the things I learned is just how connected pivotal moments are with the actual word pivot. I think, people say pivotal moment a lot, but making the connection that it's actually related to a pivot. And that pivotal moment really is about everything else that shifts around something that's central or important to you. So in making your pivot, what did you discover or find was something that was pivotal for you? What was a central point for you?
I think just really thinking about how I thought about things and reassessing the way that I thought about things. And I've always been a teacher. I taught I've been teaching for over 20 years. I first started teaching when I had a Fulbright grant to teach. It was a teaching Fulbright to teach in France. And then while I was there, I taught, after that Fulbright grant for a year, I stayed in France and I ended up teaching adults how to speak business English, French business persons, how to speak business English. And then I came back to the US and I taught French at Catonsville Community College. And even now I teach part-time adult learners at the Adult Learning Center. So I've always taught, but I think now being able to take what I know about the powers that we have within our subconscious, positivity, gratitude, and giving those little tidbits to my learners, I think is really an important pivoting moment for me. It's not just teaching now what the book says, and today's our social studies lesson, turn to page 5. It's trying to interject those little bits of tidbits so that I can help them and let them understand the power that they have and the fact that they too can ultimately change their lives just by up here in the way that they think about things.
Wow. I love it. And it's so true. Like I said, I've seen it myself in just my own life. The way you think and the power of your own way that you think and process makes such a difference. Wow. So now let's shift a bit and talk about adjustments. So I like to read this because I found this to be really interesting when it comes to the difference between pivoting and making adjustments. Adjustment is defined as the process of adapting or becoming used to a new situation. So I find that interesting because that's slightly different than pivoting. So for you, can you think of a time when you had to make an adjustment rather than a pivot?
Sure. I would probably say a time when I made an adjustment, you know, as females, as women, we wear so many different hats, different roles, you know. So I have the mom hat, I have 2 young girls, I have the wife hat, I have the daughter hat, you know, when it comes to helping take care of my mom. And, you know, for a long time, I worked in corporate America for about 10, 11 years at an international business where I used to have to travel and very demanding career. And I stopped all of that. You know, now I work for myself. So I have the entrepreneur hat. And then as I mentioned earlier, I have the teacher hat. And so many times, you know, depending on the situation or the day, you know, I got to wear a different hat. I have to wear a different role. And I can't lose focus of who I am and what's important, but some days it's the mom hat, you know, when I got to bring cupcakes to school because it's, you know, a birthday party, or I got to bring, you know, snacks to school for whatever reason, or it's the, you know, the wife hat because my husband needs help with something, or it's the daughter hat, I have to help my mom, you know, do something. She got a new computer, she needs to help it get set up, you know, whatever the role might be. Yeah. So I think in those terms, and then of course, you know, the entrepreneurial hat, how to do all of that and then still run a business and keep my sanity and keep calm and keep patient and still be kind and still remember gratitude on top of all of that. So I think that, you know, the different roles that we just have to wear are definite situations where we have to be able to adjust and be the role that we are required to be for that particular day or time or situation.
And I love that you brought that out. I think a lot of women will definitely be able to relate to that and appreciate that. And because it's true, we wear so many different hats. And you're right, switching hats requires adjustment. Sometimes they might be even layered on top of each other, right? Exactly. Well, Trenessa, we're coming kind of to the end of the discussion. So what I always like to do is ask my visitors to leave the viewers with something directly from you, whether it's a motivational quote or your own personal words of inspiration or whatever you would like to share directly from you. What would you like to say to the viewers?
Sure. Well, thank you for the opportunity again. What I would like to leave with the viewers is that change is ultimately up to you, right? You attract into your life what you put energy into. So why not put that energy into positivity, into thinking about the life that you want and taking those steps to get there? Being the gatekeeper of your mind, because again, what you think about, what you put energy into is what you're going to get. So you ultimately have the power to change situations and circumstances for the better. It might take a little time, it might take a little doing, but believing in yourself, and of course, believing in miracles. We know that through God, all things are possible. But just keeping that positive mindset and the idea, the basic tenet of mindset coaching, that you can change your life by changing your thoughts and beliefs.
Wow. Well, thank you, Trenessa. I love those final words, and I'm sure the viewers out there are definitely appreciating that and taking their notes. And I will make sure you click on the links and check out Trenessa so that you can see all the things that she's doing. And once again, thank you for joining our conversation today. And thank you to you all out there for tuning in to another episode of Pivotal Moments with Liletta. Stay tuned to see what's next.
Thank you.